Right, that's recording. There is, isn't there? We're pink and blue. That's quite incredible. We've all got pink and blue yoga mats in it. Right, let me switch my iPad off so you don't see my face. There we are. That's you guys on the screen, so you'll see me moving. Brilliant. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining me at the earlier time. Hopefully this works for folk. I was just saying, I have sent an email out with the booking for the next block. If payday is not falling this week and it's late next week, do not panic. Just fill in the form and pay me when you can, because it's a weird time, because it's 23rd of February and it was my payday today, which was rather nice, but then that makes March incredibly long. So so just sort that. And those of you who are wanting to join lots of classes, what I've tried and I've done is for the 3 classes, I've done a pass that you pay, and it's just a little bit more than just it's 45 for the 4 weeks, and you can attend every single class if you wanted to, and you can mix and match. So it makes it more affordable, because I'm really aware of how much things cost, and there's a balance to it. So there's lots of different options there. So just contact me for an option. So yes. So where are we going today? This lovely lady has inspired me. We're looking at the hips. We're going happy hips tonight. And we're going to look at a little bit of functional movement as well that we can incorporate into our yoga practice, which helps us move body and keep ourselves healthy in our joints. So probably going to show in a little bit of the shoulders and the thoracic spine as well. So enjoy. I better put some music on. I then got that and then didn't press play. So if you've got music at home, please feel free to pop something on. It's just the mic doesn't pick up music very well on Zoom, so I keep it quite quiet. Let's see if it will work. Let's just work that. Right. So we're going to start seated, and what I want you to do is start where you're comfy. So that's better. It took a while to come through. So if that's cross-legged, that's great. If that's your butterfly pose, that's fine. Let's think about moving ourselves from the comfy position of where we just put the leg that always goes at the front and swap it about. So challenge yourself. And it's going to feel slightly awkward, and it's going to feel slightly unbalanced. You see, Sally's got the option here that is the feet together. So she's symmetrical. So just take a moment here. We're going to connect with the breath. Allow the spine just to lengthen gently. And you can take that gaze inwards, or you can just take a pause. And I know you won't see this at home, but in the room, we've got some glorious colours. We've got pinks and blues, and everybody's wearing pink or blue, I think, or similar. So it's quite amazing. Maybe spring's in the air. So just allow yourself to connect with the breath. Starting to elongate the breath. And the practice tonight, I want you to think about a couple of things. I want you to keep soft joints, and I'll explain what that is as we move through practice. I want you to focus on flow and how the practice is feeling for you, and use props if you have them. Says she, I put my yoga blocks somewhere. They'll be somewhere. I think I just put them back in my bag. And then we're going to take the hands forwards gently, and we're going to walk the hands forwards, and taking a stretch through the top body. Now, activate the arms as much as you wish. You can keep them soft and round the spine, or you can activate the arms and take a stretch in this. Again, moving to the side. If you wish, back and forwards. I'm just going to find my blocks. I think I tied it them. Just taking a moment. You can tuck that chin as well in if that's comfy. If it's not comfy for you, keep this pose more upright. And then walk the hands all the way back, coming up. And we're going to inhale, lift to the sky. Now, just be gentle with this one. This is a little new one that I'm introducing. So we're going to keep the right hand at the top and we're going to take the left hand back. Now, that depends on how your spine is feeling and how open your shoulders are as to where that back arm comes. We'll slice all the way back up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, across to the other side. Inhale, lift. One way of doing this is to sweep the hand all the way back, opening the palm, and then sweep it all the way in. Or you can come over the top, depending on where your shoulder is allowing you to be. All the way back. And then we're going to take the hands behind us and just gently walk the hands back. You can come to fingertips or palms and allow the chest to open. If you want to, you can follow through with the hips. So here we're going to start a little theme here. So you can push through the hips if that's comfy. Inhaling and exhaling. All the way back to center and all the way forwards. Just round that spine again. Soft joints here. So actually I'm working more on rounding the spine than I am activating the shoulders. So I'm not really stretching through the arms, soft joints in the arms, but I'm really rounding, inhaling and exhaling, drawing that core in. All the way back, we're going to bring the hands all the way behind us. So we're coming into that kind of cactus arms. You can drop the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, we're going to come forward. So you can come up and over. If you've got a blanket, you can pop it underneath your knees. So just to soften the knees. And we're going to play here. So all we're going to do to start with, and if it's too much on the wrists, you can come to forearms. This is not strength building. All we're doing is we're circling the hips. So bring slow movement into this and use that cat-cow, that arching of the back, to gently work with this. Pausing if you need, reversing the circle if you need, just allowing some organic movement. That allows you to connect with the breath. And then come to just a stacked back position. So gently here. We're going to just take the right leg and we're going to extend the right leg long to the end of the mat. Gently move the body front to back. So just gently, just kind of rocking front to back of the yoga mat. It's a little warm up for the wrists as well. And this right leg, we're going to we're going to take over to the corner of the mat and then turn to look. Again, you can soften the arms here. You can just take a gaze where it's comfy. So if the neck is not comfy, all the way back. And just breathe here. And we're going to bring that right foot all the way forwards into lizard. So gently into lizard. So just allow a stretch. Again, you might wish to just rock gently back and forwards a little, or you might want to hold this pose. Even just circle that front knee a little, back and forwards. Tiny little circles with the knee. Bring that right foot back, knee underneath the body. Left leg's going to go back. Take a gentle rock back and forwards. Again, if you don't want to be on the wrists, you can do this just on forearms. Just gently back and forwards. Maybe holding a stretch, so just holding that movement. And then we're going to just lift that left foot across to the corner of the mat, the opposite corner. And then allow a stretch as we look towards that right hand side. Breathing into this. And then bring that left foot all the way forwards into a lizard pose. Again, we're going to come back to lizard during the practice, but this is a nice little opportunity just to rock back and forwards. If you want to, you can circle the knee. It comes quite nicely back into a lizard variation of a monkey split, so just so you're aware of that. And then we're going to bring the knee underneath us. We're going to now lift the right leg and bring the foot to the sky. Okay, soften the arms. We're going to lift to the sky and come opening the chest. As we exhale, we're going to draw a knee to the nose. Inhale, lift to the sky into a cow variation. Exhale all the way in, round the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round the spine. Let's just add a fourth one in on that side. Inhale, lift. And then take that knee for a big circle. So you're circling really slowly one way. Maybe 3 big circles one way. And then reverse that circle really slowly. Just circling. All the way under. Just sit back on the knees, just allow a bit of a shake. Wiggle the hands. If you need a layer or water, just adjust. Shake the hands is a nice one as well. And when you're ready, come back and to the opposite side. Again, remember, you can do this on the forearms if you want to come down. So we're going to lift that left leg, sole of the foot to the sky. As we lift, we can arch into this, so we can open the chest, feel a little bit of a back stretch. In, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, round in the spine. Exhale, curling. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, curling. Inhale, lifting again. And then take a big circle with the knee. So I'm just taking and using the knee and drawing a big circle on that left-hand side. And you've done 3 big circles at least on that side. Reverse the circle. And then we're going to draw underneath and we're going to come to our backs. And we're going to take a moment. So what we're going to do is just fire the core up to start with, because I know you love firing the core up. So we're going to come all the way down on a roll down. Okay, turn that down while I've got my ear down here. And on this, what we're going to do, and again, it's really nice to get the coordination going before we start to flow. We're going to take a little dead bug. So we're going to bring the shins just to the sky and our fingertips pointing to the sky. And we're going to drop and hover the left leg and the right arm. Again, really good for waking up the core and the hips And just go back and forwards, opposites, really slowly. You can allow a little bit higher if it's too much, so don't drop the leg as far if you don't want to. Or you can hover just above the floor, depending. You should start to feel the core. A little bit of movement here, waking body up. Just going to take another few of these. Just allow yourself then to bring knees into the chest, take a little roll. And just at the beginning, because we're going to do a little bit of standing flow as well with our hips, is we're going to take a little reverse pigeon here. Reverse pigeon, and bring your foot to support on the floor. So your right leg is catching over the top of your left knee. Now, normally we take a bind here. You've got some options here to play with, which are also good for the lower back. Just to start with, you can dip your right knee to the right hand side and across to the left. And as you come to the left, you can bring the sole of the foot and bring it into a little reclined twist. So you can roll this reverse pigeon, start and get movement into the spine, and have a play and hold that twist if you want. So it's a supine twist right at the beginning, getting into the back, into the hips. And swap sides when you're ready, playing with this pigeon pose. So you can, if it's real hip opener, if you want, you can grab the back of your thigh and give a pull and a push so that you can really start to wake up those muscles. Or you can just allow a supine twist in this, keeping the shoulders engaged with the yoga mat. Just allows you to roll back and forwards. And when the sole of the foot contacts the mat, that's when we come into that twist. And then come back to center and allow yourself to rock and roll all the way up. And you might want to take a few rocks and rolls, might want to come up to a twist. And then, always a challenge, I don't want to hit the radiator. You can always come up and see if you can bring yourself up to standing. There's a trick to it. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny's got it. There's a there's a real trick to it. Feet wide, Grant. Feet wide as you come up. And that will then get you up. Yay, nearly. So, and coming up to the top of the mat. So hopefully you're feeling like you've done a little bit already. And we're just going to have a play here. So we're going to roll the shoulders back. We're going to come into mountain. We're going to inhale and we're going to exhale. If you want to, you can bring the feet together in this. You're very welcome to. We're going to inhale, float the arms up. So no pulling the shoulders up and out, float the arms up. What I want you to do here is I want you to push the inner thighs together and lift up those kneecaps so you're really solid in your connection with your feet. But we're not, so Jill, relax your shoulders. That's it, much better. Take a moment here. Bring the hands together gently. You can always interlace the thumbs for this. Inhale, lift, and across to the left-hand side we go. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale across to the other side. Inhale to center. Cross. We're going to just do this twice. Inhale all the way up. Exhale across to the other side. All the way up. And then join your right knee. Bring your right knee into the party here. So if I wobble, Vicky, you're going to wobble. And if you wobble, I'm going to wobble. We're going to push through that front heel. Just check where that heel is. And then we're going to come into a warrior two pose. So we're going to bring our back foot down and open gently to warrior two. Now with warrior two, let's see if we can all do this. Let's see if we can slide a little wider into warrior two and bring more of a bend into this knee. So you're still keeping the knee in a comfortable position. I can see my toes. I can feel that press into my heel. What I want you to all do is inhale and then exhale, tuck that tailbone into neutral. That's it, Jenny. Brilliant. And then that back, bring the shoulders up a little. So that way, shoulders forward. I'm going to come and adjust you. Is that all right? So lift the hip forward. And then the shoulders down. Okay. Still extending. How does that feel? Is that a bit better? Your back, don't lean back too much. So that's it. So just allowing yourself that push into the heel at the front. Now pull the heels together. Allow yourself into warrior two here. Feel that expansion through the front body and the hips. Inhale, reverse warrior, keeping this tall. Now we're going to come to a side angle variation. As we come forwards, bring your hand just gently, but walk your foot even further out. So we're coming to like a lizard side angle variation. So a little hip opener here. Then sweep that top hand all the way forwards, opening the chest into side angle. If you really want to, and you've got a block to hand, remember you can take this into an extended, but this is then you've taken your leg over as well. So you're really stretching through the hips. So just be mindful of these stretches. We're going to bring ourselves forward, frame our foot, pivot. We're now in that lizard kind of lunge at the moment. Bring that back knee down and allow yourself to roll into a lizard monkey split. Okay. Take a breath here with the stretch. Bring yourself forwards. You can, if you've got two blocks. I got my blocks out and then I disappeared them. You're bringing the blocks. You can actually bring height into this, and you can, with just bringing a little static pose into this, or you can just remain on the hands. Take a breath into lizard. Push all the way back up. We're going to revisit lizard in a bit. Bring the hand now. So we're stepping into a runner's lunge. And our hands are quite wide. So we're going to take a wide vinyasa. So wide plank, hands into plank. That's it. Excellent. Take a moment in plank. So I'm introducing this static movement in yoga where we're building our strength as well. And then we're going to come to downward facing dog. So don't worry about your cobra at the moment. We're going to just bend the knees, bring the chest towards the thighs and just pause here. As if we're about to spring. You might wish to bring the hands into shoulder width and then lift the hips gently and allow yourself to come into downward facing dog. Now, what I would like you all to do is not push the chest through now to the thighs. I want you to keep your, so what we did, or what sometimes we do is we then come into downward facing dog and we push so that we look through. I want you to just find sturdiness in your arms and then relax the head and allow the head, top of the head, just to come towards the mat so that your shoulders are not feeling strained. Bend the knees and allow the hips to lift. Doesn't mean we have to push the chest through. We're going to drop to dolphin here. So bring yourself to forearms
And with relatively straight legs, you can have your hands clasped or not. Walk your feet, walk your feet forwards into a little dolphin pose, pushing through the forearms. Bring the knees all the way down underneath you, and you'll come into a little child's pose. For our hips, you can use a wide child's pose tonight if you wish, and allow your forehead to rest on the back of your hands or a block. And just breathe here for a moment. Roll all the way back. Bring your knees underneath you if you're in wide child's pose. Stacked back position. Sorry, Anna, that's okay. Lift yourself all the way up to downward facing dog. Walk the hands towards the back of the mat. Allow your feet to come the width of the mat, and just take a dangling pose here with the hands on the elbows. Inhaling and exhaling. Use the blocks if you want to bring the earth up to you. Inhale, flat back. Hands might come to shins or they might come into airplane arms. Push through the feet, sweep all the way up. Hands to the heart. Turn the feet out just slightly and just take a high malasana here. So no shotgun knees. So a little squat. If you want to come down to malasana, you're very welcome to, but please watch your knees. So you can keep it high, but if you know your knees are going to go pop, 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 then don't. Okay, so it's your choice. You can come into malasana if you want to, or if there's an easier way to come into malasana, to come to seated. All right, wasn't too bad. So seated, and then allow yourself. There's always, I knew who I was speaking to in the room. Sit on a block if you need to. You can take this into a little bind if you want to. You can, if you want, take your hands and take a little kind of, sometimes you can catch forwards. So you're pushing the hips open and also the shoulders. If you've got really monkey arms like me, it'll be fine, Jill. I've leant forwards a little and I've swept the hands behind. So one palm is facing the other and I've caught the fingers. But that's if your hips allow. It's just a little bind. And then we're going to just bring ourselves forwards, back into downward facing dog. Bend the knees and allow ourselves to step to the top of the mat. Into Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And then root to rise, allow yourself to come all the way up. Allow the shoulders to come back. You can extend arms if you want. Come back into mountain. Take a pause here in mountain. Feel that connection with the earth. I want you to think about pulling up from the top of the knees, pushing the thighs towards each other. Feel the legs strong. I want your floaty top body. Okay? Strong lower half, floaty top half. As we sweep our hands all the way up, you've got that support, but you've got soft joints and no activating arms, just soft. And then draw the heel of the left foot all the way up and come into that one-legged mountain. Pushing through the hip and the toes and the heels. And then this is where we step to that warrior two position and open the arm from the top to the back. And let's see if we can sink into warrior two. Let's see if you can get that thigh a little bit squarer with the floor. Inhale. Exhale, draw that core in. Let's push the heels towards each other. What does that feel like? Do things start to connect? Push the heels away from each other. Feel the different muscles. We're going to come into a lizard side angle in a minute. So reverse warrior first. Inhale, lift to the sky. And then as we draw our hand to just balance on that front leg, walk the foot out just a little. So you're coming into a lizard side angle. If you've got the block to hand, put it behind your foot and you can extend that side angle if you wish. Would you like to borrow a block there, Jill? Okay. Okay, you'll hover. Keep that breath moving. Brilliant. And then we're going to come to lizard. So allow yourself to come to a little lizard position, turning and pivot on that back foot so it's facing forwards. If you've got blocks, then you can use the blocks to bring yourself down into little lizard. Drop the back knee if you wish. You can keep that back knee lifted if you want. And we're into a lizard position here. Keep that breath. Do you know, Laura, if you're lucky enough, you'll manage to keep the tan until the sun comes out, and then you'll look really lovely and brown all summer. It's really nice having that base glow. You haven't lost it yet, so you're okay. And then come back into that lizard monkey split, just allowing yourself to stretch through that leg and the hip if you wish. Remember that you can extend this pose if your knee allows by coming to a seated position on the leg, but only if that's comfy for you. If you've got any knee issues, I wouldn't advise it. Come all the way forwards. Move the blocks. Take a little vinyasa of your choice. So stepping to plank. Keep that plank just for a moment longer than you normally would. And then either come down to the mat or come into chaturanga, to an up dog. Take your time. And then meet in downward facing dog. Pushing the belly towards the thighs, lifting the hips to the sky. Walking downward facing dog out. I want you to push the fingers, claw the mat. Push the triceps together, feel the shoulders engage. And just allow the head to just dangle. And allow it to relax and look through towards the knees. Inhale, exhale, draw the core. And as you draw the core in, soften the knees slightly to draw the hips all the way to the sky. And relax the back of the heels. Not pushing them down to the mat because your Achilles won't like you for it. But you're just allowing the back of the legs to relax. Straighten if you want to, you don't have to. Anchor the left foot, we're going to lift the right leg into tripod. And then we're going to open the hip. Keep weight even in the right and left hands. Remember, you can drop to forearms here if you wish. Bring that right leg all the way through. We're coming to high lunge. So push through the legs. Inhale, high lunge. As we sweep the hands down, we're going to come to low lunge. So just gently protect the knee or don't come down at all if you're not so keen on the low lunge. Just you can get a little stretch through the front here. Inside the hands of the foot, walk the foot to the right hand side and roll onto the edge of that foot now into an extended lizard here. If you wish, you can take this pose further. Right hand can come all the way back and open if the shoulder allows, and you might be able to grab the opposite foot if the body allows. If not, and it doesn't and it hurts, don't. You can always bring the hand to the hip. Okay, so there's lots of variations here, not to hurt yourself. Twisted lizard. Well, actually it's called twisted monkey, but there we are. Then we're going to frame our hand again and we're going to step that right foot all the way back to the sky into tripod. Yay!
Bring it down all the way to downward facing dog. Take a moment here. And then we're going to slide the right knee, hover the right knee as if we're coming into a high plank, and then come into a little pigeon pose. So knee comes across to one side, foot comes across to the other side. Your shin's never going to be parallel to the top unless your hips are incredibly open. You can take a block or cushion, you can pop it under your hip to keep you upright. So we're now in an upright pigeon here. Or you can bring this down into a swan pose, wherever's comfy for you. And if the pose is not comfy for you at all, and it's really causing grief, come into a stacked back or a child's pose. And then bring yourself up gently. Tuck the toe at the back. That's going to lift that knee, and that's going to allow you to come to a plank, which will give us that kind of square feeling back in the hips, which will lift us up then to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forwards, come to the top of the mat into Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Your choice, root to rise, or you can sweep the arms up. I don't mind which. Allow yourself to come all the way up. Extend the hands to the sky. Meet hands to the heart or mountain. Take a moment here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. You might want to swan dive, I don't mind. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step to plank. And we're moving through to downward facing dog. So we really bend the knees to shift the hips up high. Now we're going to work on the opposite side. So anchor your right foot, lift the left into tripod. And then open the hip. You can bring the heel towards you, bending at the knee if that's comfier. And we're going to step all the way through to high lunge. Bring your left foot forwards into high lunge. Push all the way up into high lunge. As we come down to low lunge, sweep the arms down, just soften the arms and draw down into low lunge. Allowing yourself to come, bless you, allowing yourself to come into lizard. If you've got blocks, you can use your blocks. You can roll onto the edge of that foot. You can push the back knee back a little if you want more into the hips. You can drop down into this pose. Lots and lots of options here. So lizard variation. And then allow yourself, if you want, to draw the left hand forwards, and that can open. And you may catch the back foot or not. All the way forwards, back to that lizard position. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. So sweep back into tripod. Ooh, there we are. And back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here. And this is where we're going to hover that left knee under, and it allows us to kind of space. So with the left knee then goes to the left-hand side of the mat, the left foot goes to the right-hand side, and that brings you into pigeon. And again, you can bring this down if you wish, or you can keep it high. Block under the hip sometimes helps, or a cushion, or you can just enjoy the stretch. Lots of different options. Whenever you're ready, because some people like to hold this pose longer than others, you can always slide yourself into child's pose and just allow the hips to come together and the knees to come together. And whenever you've finished, just in pigeon, then join us. But you can kind of, it's good to have, when we're working on the hips, it's always good to have the poses that come back to reset. So just allowing, there we are. Back into child's pose. And then just draw yourself up. Always time for a little thoracic spine, kind of warm up there. Just allow yourself. Now I know, well, now we've got the catchphrase, time for roll down, but always time now for a little thoracic spine. I've added to my repertoire. It's only taken me 5 years. Right. Yeah, it's not so snappy. Not so snappy. Always time for roll down compared to always time for a little thoracic spine kind of wiggle. I'll find something snappy, Amanda. Always time for spine. There we are. Right, well, this is something that will, it's another, I'm adding a little bit of functional yoga into this tonight as well. So for you at home as well, I hope you can do these exercises out with yoga to mobilize things, especially if you're sat or you're home working. So because we're all on the mat now, I'm going to show you this. Vicky, you've done this with me. If you've got a bony hip, which I have, but I've forgotten my blanket tonight, you might want to put a blanket just underneath your hip. Okay, it just softens this little bit. It's not anything major. This is about mobilizing our hips tonight and a hippie practice. There we are. So support yourself so that you're lying and you're comfy. If you've got any SI joint discomfort, this can actually help you, but please don't do anything that hurts. So if you find it's aggravating you, then just give it a miss and watch everybody else look silly. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the knee and tap it forwards. And then we're going to take the toe, the knee up and over, and tap the toe behind. So we're going to tap forwards and back. And you're going to do that 10 times. It starts to work the hip flexors. It starts to work the core a little bit. And it can also relieve any kind of SI kind of aggravation in that joint. But more importantly, for us, it can start to strengthen. You can do this recommended 20 times, both sides, twice a day. So you do it 40 times a day. I've started doing it. I'll tell you what it's like in a week. So you've probably done enough on one side. You probably feel that. And then switch. I'm just adding in a little bit for you. Switch. Because if we do the same practice all the time and we're moving the same muscles all the time in the same asanas, then we are not using our entire body. So let's add a little bit in here. So knee forwards, toe back. Feel free to comment on how that makes you feel, if it's good or if it's horrible movement, don't do it. Do it slowly. So with control, lifting, arching the knee, so you're drawing kind of a quarter circle with the knee. It's gone quiet. You're concentrating. I don't count. I do time. I'm listening to the music. Do more on your left than your right, because I always do. We'll just do a couple more. And then all the way back, we're going to bring ourselves into Dandasana. Just to reset.
Tuck the tailbone just gently under. Just take a pause, see how you're feeling. Take a moment here. And then make sure you've got some room behind you. Hands can come to the back of the thighs if you wish. You know where we're going? We're going into good old-fashioned half boat. Supporting, opening the chest. Maybe the hands float. Keep those shoulders soft. Soft joints. Maybe you come to full boat. Oh, I'm shaking tonight. Maybe you play. Just gently, you can tap. You can support the back. Don't have any lower back issues with this. Don't hurt yourself. You can come to low boat, to high boat, playing with the core, or you can just curl up and rock in a corner. And then allow yourself just to draw length through the spine, maybe just taking a little twist, back and forwards. And then that little movement, see if you can support yourself, just come all the way up to an Uttanasana. Stretch through the legs, maybe lift the heels. And then push all the way gently, all the way up to mountain. Hands to the heart. Inhale, lifting one-legged mountain, right hand side. Draw the hands to the heart. A little bit of support here. Push the foot all the way forwards. Lift the knee back up. Bring the knee to the right hand side. Lift the knee all the way back up. Push the foot forwards. And then let's see if we can soften that standing leg and wobble ourselves into Virabhadrasana 3, hands to the heart. If you want to extend arms, you're very welcome to, or airplane arms if that helps you. And then really carefully draw yourself back up into one-legged mountain. Ooh. And then come to little figure of 4. Little hip opener here. You can bring the pose down if you wish. If I look right, I'm going to wobble. If you but just find that balance. And then bring yourself to the mat and just shake everything. Because you're working really, really, really hard tonight. So just allow yourself just to shake out the body and we'll work the other side. I know, you can feel that in your legs tonight, but allow yourself to come to mountain. I feel like one leg has just worked a lot, so I feel slightly uneven here. So let's even it up. So just relax the shoulders. Bring that connection into the legs. You might feel the glutes just engage very slightly. That's a good thing. We're going to inhale, lift one-legged mountain. And then bring hands gently to the heart. Take a moment here. We're going to just take the knee out to the side. All the way back to center. Take an inhale and an exhale. Draw the core in to support yourself very slightly. Push the foot forward. Lift it all the way back up. Maybe out to the side. All the way back to center. See if you can soften that knee. Bring yourself all the way to Virabhadrasana 3.
Draw yourself all the way back. One-legged mountain. Sneak that hip out just to the side. And then draw all the way back down. Get a shake out. Roll the shoulders. Allow yourself to come to the top of the mountain. Top of the mountain, that's a new one. See? So what we've got roll the spine, come to the top of the mountain. It's definitely nearly the weekend. Allow the shoulders to just drop. Really feel that connection with your feet. Now we're going to bring hands to the heart and we're going to sink into chair. So drop just gently into chair, sinking, lower at the hips, inhale, exhale, tuck that tailbone under and feel yourself straighten just gently. Let's keep an eye on the time. Now here we're going to take a little rotation. We're going to inhale. And on the exhale, draw that midline, that spine across kind of the middle of the back. So you're not rotating at the lower waist. All the way back to center. Inhale. Exhale across to the other side. All the way back to center. Push the hips up to the sky. And walk the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Allow yourself to come into a gentle forward fold here. You can bend the knees, allow yourself a little stretch if you wish. Inhale, flat back here, so hands might come to the shins. We're going to exhale. You can either hop, jump, or step to plank. Yay! Draw yourself to downward facing dog. Anchor the left foot, lift the right to the sky to tripod, opening the hip. Now we're going to slide this right foot all the way under the left into a little falling star, little variation of a side plank. Bring the hand back down to support and draw yourself towards the mat, doing a little push up into, here we go, off the railroad, into nice wide, and now you're all facing the different way. Excellent. Left hand onto the mat, lift the right hip, take a stretch through the right hand body and allow the edges of the feet to support you, or just stretch from seated. Drop the hip all the way forwards, roll all the way back so you're facing the mat. Anchor the left foot, lift the right to tripod, and we're back where we started in downward facing dog. You weren't laughing enough in this practice, I'm sorry. We're in downward facing dog. Anchor the right foot, lift the left all the way up, opening the hip, stacked position. Now we're going to take that left leg all the way under into a little falling triangle, side plank variation. Now that's where we've got you so far. Now bring your right hand back down, and as you dip the hip, as if you're coming into like a little squat, allow yourself to push to the mat and then push back up, opening the right leg so you roll. So we're now in this lovely wide seated position. Yay! Now your right hand's going to come to the mat and you use the edge of your foot and the hips to lift and stretch away from the legs. All the way back down. Roll forwards, hands come to the top of the mat. The right leg is going to anchor, left slides all the way under, coming back into tripod. All the way back to downward facing dog. All the way back down to the mat. And take a child's pose. There we are. I've now got that out of my system. Allow yourself just to sink into child's pose. And just allow yourself to arch the back as you come all the way up, bringing your hands to your knees and draw yourself into Dandasana. Back to Dandasana. If you want to sit on a blanket just to lift the pelvis up slightly, it's quite a nice thing to do. And you can also support with blanket underneath it if you want, but just tuck your tailbone slightly under so that you're sitting on your sit bones, on those bony bits. And we're just going to come into a gentle twist here. So right leg just comes over. You can leave the left leg extended if you wish, and then just wrap. So the left arm comes up and slices so that you catch behind, or you can hold it, or you can wrap left leg as well if you like that gentle twist. And then use that thoracic spine movement. You're right there, Jill. So Dandasana, right leg over. That's it. So you can stop there, and it's your left arm that lifts up and turns, or you can lift your right hip and draw into a twist here. That's it. That's it. That's it. No, you got it right. Yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. You've got, right, yeah, no, Amanda's right. That left foot needs to be this side, Laura's side. That's it. That's it. But you are incredibly flexible, Jill. I'll give you that. Is that comfier? Right. Let's start again. Right. Sorry, you're all enjoying your twist. If you want to go to the other side, do. So Jill, legs out, right leg across. That's it. Left leg tucks to the right hip. That's it. And then that allows you into the twist. We got there. We got there. So just work on the other side when you're ready. I just threw a curveball right at the end in the last flow. Don't worry. In fact, I should. What we'll do next week is we'll go through the whole of that circular flow. And then come all the way to Dandasana and just give the legs a wee bit of a shake. We're coming all the way to our backs. So I'll come right this way. So allow yourself a little roll down. And just take a moment with the spine in constructive rest pose. So bring the feet just gently together and the knees together. Now here you start where we started. We had that supine twist from that reverse pigeon where I brought my foot across. You're very welcome to bring that back, both sides, or just dropping the knee, allowing just movement back and forwards. Maybe the knees come into the body, maybe they don't. But wherever you are, and I've not left quite as long tonight for Shavasana as we normally have. So maybe you just grab a blanket and just take a pause. Or maybe you just stay in this constructive rest pose with the knees together. You've got options just to take a wee relaxation. You might even wish to continue the hip theme and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So our cobbler's pose, reclined butterfly, whatever you wish to call. But wherever you are, just taking a bit of a moment just allowing yourself a pause.
just wherever you are, settling. Finding a little bit of stillness. Allowing shoulders to relax. Allowing the spine to feel connected. Maybe the soles of the feet or the backs of the heels. The breath just rising and falling, just softly. Taking a big deep inhale, really from the base of the spine. Big exhale. Just taking a little movement into the fingers, maybe the toes. And then really carefully and slowly, just bring yourself all the way to your side. And then just allow yourself that time just to pause before bringing yourself all the way back up. Gently back to seated. Grand. And just while we're here, just take a moment just to pause. And we're going to take our hands, we just gently rub them together, create a little bit of heat. And then bring the heels of the hands just gently over the eyes. Take a breath. And thank you very much for joining class tonight. Thank you. It's lovely to see folks, really lovely. And lovely to see everyone online as well. So that's recorded. I will send you the email, Mary. I forgot to send that to you. And I'll just pop record off. There we are.